Hey crafters, Leo with Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our fire truck birthday card. I've got all my pieces cut out here in front of me, as should you, and it's going to be a pretty simple paper piecing sort of project, and we're just going to start off by sort of, well, piecing things together. Let's get our little balloons here. Now, we did a kind of a similar style of card a little while back, and one thing that was ambitious at the time, we had these balloons and they were very, very, very dimensional, and they were kind of a little bit of a pain to put together. So we opted for something a little more simple this time with our balloons. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this yellow layer and we're going to put the yellow layer on the white layer here. There's going to be a tiny little bit of a white border around it. Okay, so that's going to go on first, and then you're going to find the corresponding red layer that's going to go on top of that. So it's basically kind of like a two-toned balloon. It's going to look like that. Okay, and we're going to repeat that process 4 times. We do have some clouds that are also part of the skyline, but those, I'm not really going to ink those. I'm just going to keep them white. I suppose if you wanted to ink them, could maybe add a little bit of like a blue to it maybe, but I don't really think it's necessary. So just going to go down the row here, and you obviously just want to make sure that you find the right size balloon for each little shadow layer. And this is going to be a very special little card. You can use it for, you could use it for an adult, I guess, but it's really mostly intended for children. And we also included 0 through 9. I think, well, actually not 0 through 9 because no one's really celebrating 0. I guess maybe if they're just born, but I don't think you really put 0 down for that. So this will span and work for children between 1 and 9. I think maybe 9 is pushing it a little bit, but we included it anyway, because there might be some people that are just bonkers for, for fire trucks. And if that's the case, then you have the option. Okay, so let's get this piece in place. I'm just kind of lining it up with that little cutout there in the top corner, using that as my guide for matching everything up. And boy, my Cricut has just been problematic. If you're watching this, if you had issues or have been noticing more issues with your Cricut machine, just kind of having issues cutting through things, well, paper, I guess, is really what we're mostly cutting, but it's just inconsistent cutting, despite the fact that, you've got new blades, new mats, your pressure is correct. I just had kind of a hard time with that lately. Okay, those are really cute. Okay, I've got some little pieces here. We'll work with those when the time comes. Just don't lose them. Okay, we have the little birthday caption here that is 3 layers. And instead of having to piece together all these little letters separately, we've devised this super cool little method of achieving that. So we're going to put this layer with what almost looks like a braille or something onto the white. Make sure you get that nice and centered. So we're just kind of building things slowly, and then we'll put everything in the correct place once we've got the card assembled. So now, before you put this down, just lay it over and make sure that you have it in the correct orientation. You can see how the little cutouts in the center, if you do it this way, it won't really make any sense. So make sure you're putting it on the correct way. Let's flip this around. We'll do a little swirl there and just go easy with the glue. Just try to get it, especially around the perimeter, and then just maybe little dots here and there, especially on those cutouts for the A and the Y and the H. And then maybe just dab that with your finger so that it doesn't bleed all over the place. And pop that right on there like so. And there's your caption. And again, customizing it with the number, and it's like the engine number of the fire truck, which I thought was pretty nifty. Okay, so there's our caption, super cool. And we can just, as we finish these things, just put them off to the side. Okay. Now we have some eyeballs. Let me find the other one so that everything makes sense. There it is. Okay, so we've got a large circle and a small circle because this is kind of done in a perspective sort of way. Okay, and all we're doing here is just matching up the black to the little blue. Just make sure that you rotate it so that it fits perfectly. And here we are. I'm like almost 20 years into this, and boy, my circles are still not cutting very well, which has always been sort of a thing with cutting machines, I guess. Just learn to deal with it. It's good enough though. Okay, so there's one. Let's do the same thing with the other one. I'm putting the black on this blue color, and let's make sure that I'm putting the glue on the right side. It's only going to work one way. And we're going to match that up like so. There we go. Okay. And then all that's left to do here is just take this piece that we just glued together and pop it onto this white piece, and you just want to get that centered as accurately as you can, like so. There we go. We'll put that off to the side and do the same thing on the next one. And that's all going to get glued down once we have the card base mostly put together. Okay, there we go. Nice and centered. I did not ink any of the little eyeball pieces. It just felt like they were too small. I did do the, what's it called? The balloons though. Okay, so let's move this stuff out of the way just for now. Okay. And take a look at our card base real quick so that we can start putting some stuff in place. Okay, we have the card base. I did the solid score lines here, and we can put the little insert in here. Go ahead and just apply your glue, mostly around the perimeter. I don't think you really need too much on the inside. I will give it a little splash of glue though, just for good measure. There we go. Okay, and this is going to be centered so that you have an even border all the way around. Try to be as accurate as you can with that. Whoa. A little off, that's okay, there we go. And you can obviously use this little insert to do a little print and cut, stamp, and obviously you can write your sentiment on there. So we'll close this up. Now this is going to open up this way. Okay. And we're doubling up the layers here so that the stars are yellow. So let's get this glued onto our yellow piece. It also thickens up the card and makes it good and sturdy. Okay, and pop that right on top of the yellow. Should match up perfectly as they are identical in size. There we go, press that down. And then this whole thing is going to get glued onto the card base. Once we get there, we have this little area down here. That's going to get glued so that it's flush with the bottom as well as the two sides. So you can go ahead and apply your glue to this. We'll get this in place. We'll start putting some clouds in place. And then the actual balloons, just to give this an element of dimension, we can take and use some foam squares for that actually, which I think will give it a nice touch. Just make sure that this is flush with the bottom. As much as I love this striped pattern, we don't want it visible underneath or below this area. And we do have some markers here to help us with the positioning of the actual fire truck once we get there. Okay, so find your clouds. There should be 3 of them. Okay. And then obviously we have our balloons there. We'll get to those in a second. Our largest cloud is going to go right here. You can see that there's a set of little markers. That's going to go right there. Just kind of cleaning up the cut. It's not the cleanest cut. I've seen better. Pardon my head. There we go. Okay, and then the smallest cloud is going to go directly to the right of that, and you'll see that there also is a little marker there. Goes right there. Okay, whoops. Don't want any glue shooting out there. Keep this thing nice and clean. And then our last cloud is going to go right here. You can see that there are also markers there. Just a few little dots. And pop that right into place, like so. There we go. All right, cool. So the caption is actually going to go right here. You can see that there are a series of markers there as well. I'm going to get that nice and centered, making sure that it's nice and straight as well. We don't want it skewed. And we can kind of just build this on this piece for now. We'll put it on the card base here in just a moment. Okay, and let's get this on the card base before we put our balloons in place, just so that we don't accidentally mess them up. So go ahead and apply your glue to this entire yellow piece, like so. And we'll get that lined up nicely. Kind of open it up and pop it in place, and use your fingers, especially down here, to feel and make sure that it's good and flush. Here we go. Press that into place. Make sure the edges are good and secure. Beautiful. All right. There's our card, nice and sturdy. That's a real card. Okay, cool. All right, let's grab some foam squares here, and we'll grab the little ones. These are really nice because they, the backings of these come off really nice and easy. They're not too difficult to work with. I'm going to do 2 on these larger ones just to make sure that they stay put. Okay, and you'll notice a little marker here for the bottom of the balloon. That's going to go like that. Okay, and then we're going to put the second largest over here. Flip that over. We'll see if we can get 2 on here. Should be able to, no problem. There's that. Cool. And then just pop that bottom part where you would tie the balloon. Pop that right there into the little markers. Super cute. And then we have 2 more, which are roughly the same size. I'm going to put this one right here. I think we're just going to do 1 on that. A little bit smaller. Okay. Find that little marker, pop that into place. They look really cool. I inked the yellow with a nice little orange, and I inked the red with a purple ink because the red just wasn't showing up. And then there's one more little mark right there. Perfect. Okay. Now, as far as the fire truck, we can actually assemble the entire fire truck off the card. So we can just put this off to the side for now. Let me clean up. I lately like to clean up as I go. Okay. And you know what we can do actually right now is just put together some of the pieces, like this window and this window, and then the little smiley face with the grill. Then we have this piece. We have the lights. Well, we'll wait for that for later, but let's put this together first. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the black layer going on top of the blue, and then we'll finish that off with some white trim. Now with the little windshield wipers, probably want to try to get a little bit of glue on those so they don't get snagged and ripped. You can do that now, or you can get this in place and then we can kind of paint some glue on it. It's up to you. I think it will be okay. I would just dab that glue with your finger before you go and put this down, just in case you got a little too much on there. I don't want it spilling out and blemishing the window color. But that turned out nice. And then we'll take our white overlay and we'll pop that right on top. Should be a relatively quick card. It seems like there's a lot of pieces, but there's really not. It goes quick. And it's definitely a one-of-a-kind sort of card. Your recipient will absolutely appreciate it, as will his or her parents. They'll be like, wow, that's really cool. You made that? You'll be like, yep. And it's our little secret. You don't even have to tell them that it's Dreaming Tree. Okay. So there is that. Got that one all set. Let's do the same thing with the blue. And just make sure that, how does this work? Oh, there we go, just like that. Got my texture side facing up. Don't want to hide that beautiful texture. I have seen in some instances where people have mixed and matched occasionally using the smooth side of the cardstock just to kind of create a little very subtle contrast, which I thought was kind of cool. I think we did that on something, I don't remember what, but we don't do it very often just because I just love the texture, and it also photographs very well. Okay, there we go. Try to line that up as accurately as you can. You want to essentially hide the black as much as possible. There we go. That looks good. So that one's all set. Now let's put the little grill together with the smiley face. We'll grab this white piece. It's going to go on top of the black. And then there are two little yellow cutouts that we're going to fill in here in these little circular areas. Okay, just kind of slide it right in there and press that into place. Hopefully I got enough glue on there. And not gonna lie, some of this stuff was inspired by my son, and I think we're gonna follow this up with a project for girls too. I think some girls like fire trucks too. I don't think it has to be just a boy thing, but probably leans more towards boys, I would say. But obviously you can use it for whoever, even if it's an adult. It's kind of funny, you know, because we're all kids at heart, aren't we? All right, so find the two little yellow circles. Obviously the smaller one's going to go on the left, the larger one on the right. Literally just a tiny little dot of glue there. Might be a little difficult to handle, but you got this. I always feel like we're sometimes doing surgery, and maybe I would make a good surgeon. But that ship has sailed. Okay, so that's done. And at this point, there's like a separate section of the fire truck that's that. And we did that so that we could ink around there and kind of give it some additional dimension. And on that part, we have this little section here. Okay, so let's flip this around and we're going to apply our glue. The wheel well there. And just basically like a yellow stripe, I guess. It's like a decorative feature of our fire truck. Pop that right into place as accurately as you can. Beautiful. That looks nice. A little bit of a tear there from just a bad cut, I guess. Okay, and then let's find this little guy. And that little guy's gonna go right on top of there. So just use little dots. Dot, 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 dot. There we go. Speaking of fire trucks, I guess it's not really fire related, but hopefully our fans out on the West Coast are doing okay with all the fires that I hear you've been having. That can't be fun. We recently just had a little flood scare, actually, which I was really surprised. Okay, so now this little window is going to go right here, like so. Okay, so we can flip this around, apply our glue. It was February 1st, I think. It was a couple days ago, and I don't know why, we just started getting rain. I'm sitting at my desk working, and I got a notification from the Weather Channel saying that we're on a flood watch. I was like, oh my goodness, that's nuts. And yeah, I'll have to share a picture. Maybe I'll even include it in this video. You can see where the water was creeping up to my studio. It was kind of scary. All right, so here's what we're gonna do right now before we're almost done actually. I'm gonna take this red piece and put it on top of this gray piece. You'll notice that I did ink down at the bottom there on the wheels, just a tiny bit. Okay, and let's get our glue going here. So quite a bit of real estate to cover here. Do your best, especially on the ladder. I want to get a little bit on that ladder. You can always paint some glue later if we don't get everything right off the bat here. But I think we should be okay. I'm looking at the little rear view mirror there and using that as my focal point right now, and then going looking at the ladder, just making sure everything lines up nicely. There we go, perfect. Voila. Okay, now while we're at this bottom layer here, grab this little half circle. That's going to get glued right there, right at the edge. Make sure that that lines up nicely. It does. It should be flush. Just bring it out all the way to the right as far as it'll go. It's to give the wheel that dimensional look. Okay, just pop that out all the way as far as it'll go. Make sure it's flush there. There we go. And then we'll take this large piece here and just pop it in there. It should fit like a little puzzle right there, like that. Get that in place. And then we've got a few little overlays that are going to go on top of that as well. There we go. And then find the small one that's going to go right here. And I'm going to glue that down like so. Okay. I'm building a little fire truck. It's so cute. I bet Peyton would even just like to play with this as is. I'm sure he would. All right, now find, in my case, I have a silver foil. It's like a textured foil. And this is gonna go right in the center of this wheel. There's no markers, you're just gonna have to eyeball it. Just try to do your best, okay? Over here, I'm gonna grab the smaller silver one. It's just like the hubcap, I guess. Hubcap or whatever it is. Okay, get that centered as well. Got a little glue on there. Okay, and then inside of that, we've got little red pieces. I want the larger red oval for the larger wheel, smaller one for the smaller wheel, obviously. And that is going to get centered inside of our silver piece here. Pop that into place, grab the smaller one now. And just one dot of glue should do. Get that centered. Come on. Okay, let's build the little ladder portion here. So we have this funky looking shape. We can start off by taking the white part of the ladder and getting that glued down. Now I noticed last time we did a kid's card set like this, we added an element to the inside that was, I think it was like a pop-up element with the number, and I had noticed that a lot of you kind of skipped that and you just made just the card with the front. So I was like, well, you know, I guess if they, I guess the orientation is not correct, but we didn't include an element like that this time just to kind of speed things up, because I know time is always a factor for you guys, so just kind of kept that in mind. Okay, so I put the silver piece in place. There's also a small little black piece. Okay, and that is gonna go, make sure I got that right. Yep, it's gonna go like this, right at the end. Just one little dot of glue. And that is gonna go all the way to the right. Make sure you get that on there nice and straight. Okay, and then take the blue light and get that one glued to the left-hand side. And then we'll do this little black piece that kind of separates the two. Let's make sure we get that lined up correctly. Pardon my head if it's in the frame. Okay, then find the little black piece and pop that in the center. Oh, wait, you know what? That actually goes on top of the red piece, so we need to glue the red one down first. Good thing I noticed that. Just pop that in there like so. Get that lined up. There we go. And then let's take the black piece, and that is going to go on top of the blue, pointing this way. And that way, they're both equal in length. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to take this and we're going to actually just glue this down onto the actual fire truck. So let's flip this around and apply your glue. I'm just doing little dots since it's pretty delicate and thin here up to there. Starting with the lights, then following the ladder. Pop that into place. There we go. That's nice. Okie dokie. That looks good. All right, now what we can do is take this piece and get this glued down. It's going to go right here, like so. You want to make sure that it just lines up nicely around the wheel well here. And flip it around, apply your glue. We'll put the little yellow handle in place in just a moment. Okay, that's going to go right there. Take a look at that wheel well. Make sure it hugs it nicely. There we go. And let's grab this thing. It's like a little control center dial thingy. Probably where they turn all the water on and operate the ladder. I could be wrong, but I don't know what else it would be. Okay. You'll probably control that stuff from inside the fire truck too. I've never really... Should maybe stop by the fire station and see if they ever give us a little tour. I think they do that. They're very nice ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure. All right, so we're putting a little white piece there in the center, and there's a small black piece that's going to go in the middle of that white piece that we just put down. Okay, so just throw a little dot of glue on that. Okay, so this little piece here, I put the darker color on top of the black, and I put the white in the center there, and then the other black piece on top of that. I think I might have hit the 30-minute mark and my camera stopped. I forgot to set a little timer, but I think that's where we left off. Okay, and this is going to go right next to this other dimensional piece that we just put on here. Make sure you have it flush at the bottom, like so, and then push it to the left as far as it'll go up against that section there. Okay, I forgot this little yellow piece, but that's okay. It's not too late to put it on now. Just do a little dot of glue there. Pop that right on there. The red and the yellow are really cool. All right, find your little sprinkle piece and just do a little dot of glue on that. It's your little handle for the door. And that's going to go right in there. Should fit perfectly. There we go. Okay, and then we have this little yellow piece for the other wheel well, and we have a white piece that goes over it, and we're pretty much on the home stretch here. Not a bad project. Very cute. And again, don't forget to cut out the appropriate number for the age of the recipient. So is that. We left a special place right here for that number. Let's get the white piece on. Just a few little dots. And that's going to go right on top of the corresponding yellow. Perfect. There we go. Okie dokie. All right, so now this piece here, I'm actually gonna use some foam squares on this to give this a little bit of dimension. This window, we can just glue on like so. And yeah, that's texture, I guess. Thought maybe well, it has to be texture, otherwise it would be going the other way. Anyways, I'm just talking to myself here. Okay, line that up with the rear view. Should go up a little bit. Got a nice little line there in the center. Okay, perfect. Let's get our eyes in place. And the large circle of the eye should be at about, I don't know, 10, 11 o'clock. I'd say probably 10:30-ish. Okay, so just make sure that, try to get those matched up as accurately as you can. And actually, this is like a U shape. Just make sure that the U is shaped like a U, and it's not like a C or a backward C, if you understand what I'm trying to say here. Okay, get that glued in place. This is cute. You can actually, obviously you could use this on any sort of card base that you wanted to, because it's not part of the actual card. All right, so let's grab the last little piece here, and I'm going to do one here. I'll do one here. And now remember, you can actually cut these in half if you need to. I'm guessing that I may need a smaller one here. There we go. Probably get a full-size one there. And then maybe let's just add a couple small ones for that additional support. And of course, we also have a coordinating envelope to go with this, if you wanted to make that. Okay, and you can pretty much see where this is going to go. There's a little bit of the shadow there on the left-hand side. Make sure it's nice and flush with the bottom. And there he is, or she. Could probably give her some eyelashes if you wanted to. And then we're going to foam square this whole thing now. So let's flip it over. Let me see if I have my larger ones here, because this is kind of, there they are. Perfect. Less work since they're bigger. Start with the wheels. Speaking of wheels, the wheels on the bus go round and round, and we made a simplified version of a bus that, well, didn't end up as simple as we'd hope, but definitely simpler than some of the stuff that we've done in the past, just to make the assembly a lot easier. So that is also part of this bundle, which is great. It'd be great for teachers, bus drivers, kids. I know Peyton is obsessed with buses, so I know he'll probably destroy it, but oh well. All right, so this is, you can see that there are a set of markers down here to help you with the positioning of the wheels. I think if you get two of them in place, the last one will just naturally fall in place here. And then we opted to go with the number 5. Or is it a 5? Yeah, it has to be a 5. Okay, and it has perspective, right? So if I do it this way, it's not following the perspective. But if I do it this way, it is. So I'm actually just going to glue this down. And you want to pop that right into the little area there that is blank. Probably just get it nice and centered. And there we go. Super cool. There is your gorgeous card. Okay, let's take a look at the envelope real quick, just to wrap this up. Okay, so pre-folded, obviously my card base and my envelope, I used solid score lines for that. You can see how that's going to look. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to apply our glue around the fire hat, like so. Okay, and then if you can, maybe just do a little dot on this thin spot. Hit that with your finger to thin it out. And then take this one and actually, never mind. Yeah, we're just going to put it on this whole thing because part of it sticks out. I thought for a second we were going to be using a different method. Okay, and just take it, push it up to the fold. Make sure it's centered. And then you can take and press this down. And that was perfect. And just hold that in place for a moment. And then we have the little badge or crest, whatever you want to call it. And you can see there's a little marker for that there. Just throw a little bit of glue on that. And pop that right where the marker is. Like so. And then we'll take the two side flaps, bring them in, and apply, let's clean that nozzle off real quick. And just apply your glue there and there, all the way down. All the way down, there we go. And then close it up, press and hold, and your envelope is done. I'm not gonna put it in there just yet because I want it to dry fully, but you can see here that it will fit, and that is it for our beautiful fire truck birthday card. So that's going to do it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please take a moment and visit us on our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. While you're there, hit the little bell so that you get notifications anytime we release a new project, whether it be paid or free. And if you make this or anything from our new bundle, I would love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Official. That's where you'll find myself and over 46,000 other dreamers that inspire us daily. So hope you had a blast. And as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos and please consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section where you'll find over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly tutorials. I'll see you in the craft room.